Captain Li Wujin stared at the communication screen aboard the horizon's edge. The message that had just arrived was unlike anything he had ever seen. It came from somewhere far away in space, from aliens calling themselves the Velkari. Lieutenant. Kim Do-yun worked quickly at his station, trying to clean up the signal. Sir, this message traveled through quantum channels. It took a lot of energy to send this far. Dr. Park Ji-soo leaned over Kim's shoulder, studying the alien text that appeared on screen. Her eyes were wide with excitement. This is real first. Contact, Captain, they're asking for help. The message was simple but desperate. The Velkari homeworld was dying. Their air was becoming poison. Their oceans were turning acid. Plants were dying everywhere. They had maybe 2 years before their entire species would be gone forever. They say they already asked 17 other alien races for help, Kim said, reading more of the message. Look at this list of responses. Wujin read the list with growing anger. The Zenthari had sent some old air cleaning machines that barely worked. The Morvac offered to take away only their richest people. The Thessian Empire said they could give shelter to a few thousand Velkari, but only if they worked as servants. Every species gave them almost nothing, Park said quietly. They're all calculating costs and benefits instead of seeing people who need help. Engineer Choi Minho spoke up from his station. Captain, we're just one ship. Earth only has a few colonies. What could we possibly do that these big galactic empires couldn't? Wujin looked at his crew. These were good people who had signed up to explore space and help humanity grow among the stars. But now they faced something bigger than exploration. They faced the chance to save an entire alien race. Show me their planet data, Wujin ordered. Park pulled up the information the Velkari had sent. Pictures of their dying world appeared on the main screen. Cities under clouds of toxic gas. Forests turned to gray wasteland. Velkari families huddled in underground shelters, wearing breathing masks just to survive. They look almost like us, Park whispered. The Velkari were humanoid with 2 arms, 2 legs, and faces that showed clear emotions. In the pictures, parents held their children close. Old Velkari sat with their heads in their hands. Young ones stared at the poisoned sky, with fear. Their biology is similar to ours too, Park continued, reading her scanner. They breathe oxygen, drink water, eat plants and meat. If we could clean their air and soil, they could live normal lives again. Do-yun turned to face the captain. Sir, they're still sending messages. They say they sent requests to 3 more species yesterday. The Varanian Collective, the Hegemony of Kree, and the Spiral Arm Federation. All 3 said no. The Varanians said it would cost too much. The Kree said it wasn't their problem. The Federation didn't even respond. Wujin felt something burning in his chest. These aliens were dying, and the entire galaxy was turning away from them. Species with thousands of ships and unlimited resources were saying no to saving lives because it might be expensive or inconvenient. Captain, Minho said carefully, we should probably report this to Earth Command and let them decide what to do. That could take weeks, Park said. The Velkari don't have weeks to wait for politicians to argue about it. Wujin walked to the main communication station. His crew watched him in silence. He knew what he was about to do would probably get him in serious trouble. Earth Command hadn't authorized any major first contact operations. They definitely hadn't authorized promising aid to dying aliens. But sometimes being human meant doing the right thing even when it wasn't authorized. Open a channel to the Velkari homeworld, Wujin ordered. Sir? Kim asked, confused. You heard me. Open the channel. Kim's fingers flew over his controls. After a moment, he nodded. Channel open, Captain. They're receiving. Wujin took a deep breath and spoke into the microphone. This is Captain Li Wujin of the human exploration vessel Horizon's Edge. We received your distress call. He paused, thinking about what to say next. Around the bridge, his crew held their breath. We know other species have turned away from you. We know they think saving your people costs too much or takes too much effort. Humans think differently. We may be new to the stars, but we understand what it means to suffer. We understand what it means to need help. Wujin looked at the pictures of dying Velkari still displayed on the screen. You asked for aid. We're not just giving you aid. We're giving you our full commitment, every resource we have, every ship we can build, every person willing to help. Humanity is coming to save you." The bridge fell silent, except for the hum of engines. Wu Jin realized his hands were shaking slightly. He had just promised an entire alien species that humanity would save them. He had no idea if Earth could actually do it. "Message sent, Captain," Kim said quietly. They waited. Space communications took time, even through quantum channels. Finally, a response came back. Kim put it on the main speaker's. The voice was clearly alien but spoke human language through translation software. "Captain Wu Jin, this is High Counselor Nex of the Velkari. We do not understand. You say full commitment? What do you want in return? Our planet has valuable minerals. Our people can work. What is your price?" Wu Jin smiled sadly. Even dying aliens expected humans to want payment for help. "High Counselor Nex, humans don't save lives for profit. We save lives because it's right. We want nothing from you except the chance to help." A longer silence followed. When the Velkari responded, the voice sounded different, confused but hopeful. "Captain, in all our communications with other species, none has ever offered help without demanding something in return. Are you certain you speak for your people?" "I speak for humanity," Wu Jin said firmly. "And humanity stands by its friends. Start preparing your people, High Counselor. Help is coming." After ending the communication, Wu Jin turned to face his crew. Park was smiling with tears in her eyes. Kim was already working on sending the message to Earth. Minho looked worried, but determined. "Sir," Minho said, "do you really think humanity can save an entire alien planet?" Wu Jin looked back at the screen showing the dying Velkari world. "Minho, I don't know if we can save them, but I know we're going to try with everything we have. That's what makes us human." As the horizon's edge changed course toward Earth to deliver the news, Captain Wu Jin began composing his report to Earth Command. He would probably face court-martial for making unauthorized promises to aliens. But he would do it again in a heartbeat. Admiral Yoon Sora read Captain Wu Jin's report for the third time. Around the emergency meeting room at Luna Station, Earth's top military and civilian leaders sat in stunned silence. Director Kang Hyunwoo of the Colonial Affairs Department was the first to speak. "Let me understand this correctly," Kang said slowly. "One of our captains promised an entire alien species that humanity would save their dying world, without authorization, without knowing if we even can save them." "That's correct," Admiral Yoon replied. Captain Wu Jin exceeded his authority completely. Dr. Shin Yoonji, Earth's top environmental specialist, looked up from her tablet. "I've been studying the data the Velkari sent. Their atmospheric contamination is severe but not impossible to fix. The real question is scale. They need help for billions of people across an entire planet." "How many ships would we need?" asked General Park Kyung-soo from the Space Defense Force. "Every ship we have," answered Captain B.A. Tae-hyung, recently promoted to oversee transport operations. "And every ship we can build in the next 6 months, plus supply vessels, mobile laboratories, atmospheric processors, medical facilities, temporary habitats, and we're talking about the biggest operation in human history." Director Kang shook his head. "The cost would be enormous. We'd have to redirect resources from Mars expansion, Europa mining, the Luna shipyards." "So we redirect them," Admiral Yoon said simply. Everyone turned to look at her. She stood and walked to the large window overlooking Earth. The blue planet turned slowly below them, peaceful and beautiful. "I've been reading the communications between the Velkari and other species," she continued. 20 different alien civilizations told dying people that saving them would be too expensive, too inconvenient, not profitable enough. She turned back to face the room. "Is that who we want to be? Is that how we want the galaxy to remember humanity's first major contact with aliens?" "Admiral," General Park said carefully, "we're talking about risking everything humanity has built in space. If this mission fails, it could set back human expansion by decades. And if it succeeds, Dr. Shin said quietly, we save billions of lives and show the galaxy that there's a different way to treat people in need. Admiral Yoon walked back to the table. I'm calling an emergency session with the World Council. This decision is too big for just the military. 6 hours later, the World Council met in emergency session. Representatives from every nation on Earth joined by holographic link. Admiral Yoon presented the situation clearly and honestly. The Velkari were dying. Other aliens had refused to help. One human captain had promised full aid without authorization. The debate that followed was intense, but short. The representative from Korea spoke first. Captain Woojin is one of our citizens, he said. He made a promise in humanity's name. We should honor that promise. The representative from Nigeria agreed. My country knows what it means to need help and not receive it. We vote to support the Velkari mission. One by one, nations voted. Brazil voted yes. Japan voted yes. Canada voted yes. India voted yes. Some countries asked practical questions about costs and logistics, but every single nation voted to support the mission. The final vote was unanimous. Humanity would mount a full-scale rescue mission to save the Velkari. Within 24 hours. The news had spread across Earth and all human colonies. The response was unlike anything in human history. Recruitment stations couldn't handle the flood of volunteers. Engineers worked around the clock designing new ships and equipment. Factories retooled to produce emergency supplies. Dr. Shin Yoonji found herself in charge of the largest scientific project ever attempted. Her team grew from 12 environmental specialists to over 3,000 scientists, engineers, and technicians working on atmospheric restoration technology. The Velkari contamination is mainly industrial pollution, she explained to her team, leaders. Heavy metals in the soil, toxic gases in the air, acid in the water. We need mobile processing units that can clean everything simultaneously. Her deputy, Dr. Ryu Donghae, looked worried. Ma'am, the scale is incredible. We're talking about cleaning an entire planet's ecosystem. Then we build incredible solutions, Shin replied. The Velkari sent us detailed atmospheric readings. We know exactly what poisons we're fighting. We can design systems specifically for their world. Meanwhile, Captain Bae Taehyung worked to assemble the rescue fleet. Shipyards across the solar system worked non-stop. Military vessels were retrofitted with scientific equipment. Cargo ships became mobile hospitals. Even civilian transport. Vessels were modified to carry emergency supplies. We need at least 800 ships, BAE told his logistics team. Medical ships, supply ships, atmospheric processors, temporary habitats, communication arrays, and military escorts in case other aliens try to interfere. Chief Petty Officer Han Gi-chan, recently assigned as Fleet Logistics Coordinator, pulled up production schedules. Sir, the shipyards say they can have 600 ships ready in 4 months. For the other 200, we'll need to use modified civilian vessels. Then we modify civilian vessels, BAE said. Put out a call for volunteers willing to convert their ships for the mission. The response was overwhelming. Within a week, over 1,500 civilian ship owners had volunteered to join the rescue fleet. Freight haulers, passenger liners, mining vessels, research ships, even luxury yachts were offered for conversion. Lieutenant Commander Oh Seung-hwan, now assigned as Fleet Navigator, studied the route to Velkari space. Sir, it's 1,200 light-years away. We'll need 3 hyperspace jumps and multiple refueling stops. The journey will take at least 18 months. How many people are volunteering for an 18-month rescue mission? BAE asked. Han Gi-chan checked his records. As of this morning, sir, 2,400,000 people have applied to join the fleet. BAE stared at him. 2.5 million volunteers? Yes, sir. We have applications from doctors, engineers, teachers, farmers, construction workers, artists, musicians. People from every profession imaginable. They all want to help save the Velkari. Dr. Lim Chae-young, assigned as fleet psychologist, wasn't surprised. This mission appeals to something deep in human nature, she explained to Admiral Yoon. We're social creatures who feel compelled to help others in need. The fact that the Velkari are aliens actually makes it more appealing to many people. It's the ultimate test of human compassion. As preparations continued, messages arrived regularly from the Velkari homeworld. High Counselor Nex seemed unable to believe what humanity was doing. Captain Wu Jin, came one transmission. Our sensors detect massive construction activity throughout your solar system. Are you truly building hundreds of ships just to help us? Wu Jin, now promoted to admiral in charge of the rescue fleet, responded personally. High Counselor, we're building everything we can. Ships, equipment, supplies, temporary cities for your people if evacuation becomes necessary. Whatever it takes. But why? Came the confused reply. We can offer you nothing of value. Our world is dying. Our technology is inferior to yours. Why would humanity spend so much to save us? Admiral Wu Jin looked at the communication screen and smiled. High Counselor, you're asking the wrong question. The question isn't why we would help you. The question is, how could we not help you? You're people in need and we have the ability to help. For humans, that makes the choice simple. As the massive rescue fleet neared completion, other alien species began taking notice. The Zenthari Empire sent diplomatic messages asking why. Humans were wasting resources on irrelevant aliens. The Morvac Collective offered to sell humanity proper evacuation equipment at discount prices. All such offers were politely declined. Captain BAE stood on the bridge of the command ship, New Hope, and looked out at the assembled fleet. 847 ships of every size and type floated in formation around Luna Station. Each ship carried volunteers who had given up their normal lives to spend years helping strangers they had never met. Admiral Wu Jin, he called. Over the communication system, the rescue fleet is ready for departure. Understood, Captain BAE, came the reply. All ships, this is Admiral Wu Jin. Today we begin the longest rescue mission in human history. We go not for profit or glory, but because people need help and we can provide it. Let's show the galaxy what humanity stands for. The fleet began moving toward the hyperspace jump point. Behind them, Earth and Luna Station grew smaller. Ahead lay 18 months of travel and the greatest challenge humanity had ever faced. But every person in the fleet knew they were doing the right thing. The human rescue fleet had been traveling for 8 months. Lieutenant Commander Oh Seung-wan stood in the navigation center of the command ship New Hope, studying star charts and hyperspace calculations. The first jump had gone perfectly. The second jump was scheduled for next week. Sir, called Navigation Officer Kim Jae-hyun, we're receiving long-range communications from the Velkari homeworld. Oh Seung-hwan walked over to the communication station. Put it through the translation system and send it to all department heads. The message that came through made everyone stop working. High Counselor Nex's voice sounded tired and desperate. Admiral Wu Jin, the situation here has gotten worse. Our government has collapsed. Different Velkari groups are now fighting over the remaining clean water and breathable air. Some regions have declared independence from the central authority. Dr. Lim Chae-young, the fleet psychologist, was listening in the medical bay. She immediately called Admiral Wu Jin. Sir, this changes everything. We're not just dealing with environmental disaster anymore, we're dealing with social collapse. In the engineering section, Chief Petty Officer Han Gichen was coordinating supply distribution across the fleet. The news about Velkari political problems worried him. If their society is falling apart, how do we even know who to help when we arrive? Dr. Park Jisoo, working in the xenobiology lab, had been studying Velkari culture since the journey began. I've been analyzing their social structure from the data they sent us, she told the senior staff meeting. The Velkari are naturally cooperative like humans, but extreme stress makes any species desperate. What do you recommend? Asked Admiral Wu Jin. We help everyone, Park said simply. Not just the government or the strongest groups. Everyone who needs help regardless of politics. Engineer Choi Minho had been working with his teams to improve their rescue equipment during the journey. Admiral, I've been thinking about what happens when we arrive. The other alien species who offered minimal help, they all stayed in space and sent down small amounts of aid. What if we do something completely different? What do you mean? Wu Jin asked. What if we land among them? What if we work directly with Velkari people instead of just dropping supplies from orbit? Dr. Lim Chae-young nodded approvingly. That would show trust and commitment that no other species has demonstrated. It would also be much more dangerous, pointed out Captain Bae Tae-hyung from the military escort section. Working on a poisoned planet with a collapsing society. The Velkari are living on that poisoned planet with that collapsing society, Wu Jin replied. If it's their reality, we can share it while we help fix it. 3 months later, the fleet made its second hyperspace jump. They were now only 6 months away from Velkari space. During the jump, something went wrong with one of the civilian vessels, a converted cargo ship called Bright Tomorrow. We've lost main power, reported the ship's captain, Mrs. Lee Suk-young, a former freight hauler who had volunteered her ship for the mission. Life support is functioning on backup power, but we can't maintain hyperspace velocity. Captain BAE immediately ordered the military escorts to assist. All ships reduce speed and maintain formation. We don't leave anyone behind. Engineer Choi Min-ho led a repair team to the Bright Tomorrow. Working in spacesuits, they spent 3 days fixing the ship's power systems. The entire fleet waited patiently while repairs were completed. Why didn't they just leave us behind? Asked Kim Min-soo, a young volunteer engineer on the Bright Tomorrow. We're just one ship out of 800. Because that's not how humans work, replied Chief Engineer Park Hye-jin. We don't abandon people who need help. That's the whole point of this mission. Dr. Shin Yoonji used the repair delay to run more tests on her atmospheric cleaning equipment. Her mobile processing units were now more advanced than anything she had originally designed. We can clean poisoned air, water, and soil simultaneously, she reported to Admiral Wu Jin. Each unit can process the environment for about 50,000 Velkari. How many units do we have? Wu Jin asked. 230 units across the fleet, plus manufacturing equipment to build more once we arrive. Lieutenant Kim Do-yun had been working on communication systems during the journey. Admiral, I've made a breakthrough with the Velkari language. Our translation software is now nearly perfect. More importantly, I've identified emotional patterns in their speech. We can tell when they're afraid, hopeful, or desperate. Why is that important? Asked Dr. Lim Chae-young. Because, Kim replied, every message we've received from other Velkari regions shows the same pattern. They're all afraid that we'll be, like the other alien species, that will help only the powerful or wealthy then leave. Admiral Wu Jin thought about this for a long moment. Send a message to all Velkari regions. Tell them that humans help everyone who needs help. Rich or poor, powerful or weak, government or rebel. If they need aid, they'll receive it. The response from Velkari space was immediate and emotional. Messages came from dozens of different Velkari groups, all expressing disbelief that aliens would help without choosing sides in their political conflicts. One message came from a group of Velkari scientists working in the northern continent. Admiral Wu Jin, this is Dr. Velkari scientist Veli. We have been trying to develop environmental solutions with the limited equipment other species provided. But their technology doesn't work well with our ecosystem. Would you be willing to share your cleaning technology with us? Of course, Wu Jin replied immediately. We'll transmit all our technical specifications right now. Your scientists might see improvements we missed. This began a new phase of the journey. Human and Velkari scientists began working together across the vast distance of space. Dr. Shin Yoonji found herself coordinating with 12 different groups of Velkari environmental specialists. Admiral, she reported excitedly, the Velkari scientists have suggested modifications to our equipment that could increase efficiency by 40%. They understand their own ecosystem better than we do. Implement their suggestions, Wu Jin ordered. As the fleet entered its final months of travel, more news arrived from Velkari space. The Xanthari Empire had withdrawn their old atmospheric processors, claiming the Velkari were politically unstable. The Thessian Empire had ended their refugee program, saying it was too expensive to maintain. But other news was more encouraging. Several Velkari regions had stopped fighting and were working together to prepare for the humans' arrival. They were building landing areas for the rescue fleet and organizing distribution centers for aid supplies. They're starting to hope again, Dr. Park Jisoo observed. The knowledge that real help is coming is already changing their society. Captain Nam Yejin, commanding one of the escort vessels, received an interesting message during the final month of travel. Admiral, we're picking up communications from other alien species. They're asking each other why the humans are doing this. What kind of questions? Wu Jin asked. Things like, what do the humans really want? And what's their secret plan? They can't believe we're really just helping for the sake of helping. Dr. Lim Chae-young laughed. They're trying to understand human psychology by using their own psychology. For them, major actions require major profits. 2 weeks before arrival, at Velkari Space, the fleet received its most important message yet. High Counselor Nex, speaking for all Velkari regions, sent a unified transmission. Admiral Wu Jin and all humans of the rescue fleet, we have watched your approach for 18 months. We have worked with your scientists and learned from your generosity. In all our history, in all our contact with other species, we have never encountered people like you. You have already saved us just by showing us that such people exist in the universe. When you arrive, you will find the Velkari, united and ready to work alongside you as partners, not just recipients of aid. Admiral Wu Jin stood on the bridge of New Hope and looked ahead at the stars. Somewhere in that direction was a dying world full of people who had given up hope until humans promised to help. All ships, he announced over the fleet communication system, prepare for final approach to Velkari Space. We're about to find out if 18 months of preparation was enough. Engineer Choi Minho checked his equipment readings one last time. Dr. Shin Yoonji reviewed her atmospheric processing procedures. Captain BAE Tai-hyung positioned the military escorts for planetary approach. The longest rescue mission in human history was about to reach its destination. The human rescue fleet dropped out of hyperspace at the edge of the Velkari system. Admiral Wu Jin stood on the bridge of New Hope and stared at the sight before them. The Velkari homeworld appeared on the main screen, brown and gray where it should have been green and blue. Thick clouds of poisonous gas swirled through the atmosphere. My God, whispered Dr. Park Jisoo. It's worse than the pictures showed. Lieutenant Kim Do-hyun was already receiving multiple communications from the planet's surface. Admiral, we're getting signals from 43 different Velkari groups. They're all asking when we can begin operations. What about other alien ships? Asked Captain BAE Taehyung. Commander Ju Sung-min, recently assigned as military liaison, checked his tactical displays. Sir, there are 3 Xanthari vessels in high orbit. They appear to be observing us. Also, long-range sensors show Morvac and Thessian ships about 2 light hours away. They want to see what we're doing, Admiral Wu Jin said. Let them watch. Maybe they'll learn something. Dr. Shin Yoonji was studying atmospheric readings from her mobile laboratory ship. Admiral, the contamination is exactly as the Velkari described. Heavy industrial pollution, toxic gas concentrations, acidified water systems. But our equipment should be able to handle it. How long to start seeing results? Wu Jin asked. If we deploy all processing units simultaneously, we should see measurable improvement in local areas within 72 hours. Unlike other alien species that had stayed safely in orbit, Admiral Wu Jin gave the order that would define humanity's approach. All ships, begin planetary approach. We're going down to work directly with the Velkari people. The decision shocked everyone monitoring the situation. Commander Ju Sung-min immediately received concerned communications from the other alien observers. Admiral, he reported, or the Xanthari are asking if we understand the danger of operating on the surface. The Morvac are offering to sell us remote-operated equipment so we can work from orbit. Decline politely, Wu Jin replied. We're not afraid to share the same air as the people we're helping. As the human fleet descended through the poisoned atmosphere, Velkari gathered at landing sites across the planet. Dr. Yang Mihua, the chief medical officer, watched through the viewports as thousands of Velkari waited in the gray, contaminated landscape. Admiral, she called over the communication system. Look at them. They're not wearing protective gear. They're breathing this poison every day because they have no choice. Then we breathe it too, Wu Jin said firmly. Deploy atmospheric processors first, then establish base camps in the contaminated areas. The first human ships landed in the worst affected region of the planet. As the landing ramps lowered, humans in light protective gear walked out to meet Velkari, who had been breathing poison for years. The symbolic impact was immediate and powerful. High Counselor Nex was among the first Velkari to greet the humans personally. He approached Admiral Wu Jin with tears in his eyes. Admiral, you actually came down here. No other species has ever been willing to share our contaminated air. We're here to work beside you, not above you, Wu Jin replied through the translation system. Show us where you need help most. Dr. Velkari scientist Vel, who had been communicating with human scientists during the journey, met Dr. Shin Yunji at the Environmental Processing Station. Dr. Shin, we've prepared everything according to your specifications. Our workers are ready to assist with deployment. We work as partners, Shin replied. Your people understand this ecosystem better than we do. Guide us. The next 72 hours were a whirlwind of activity. Human and Velkari teams worked side by side to deploy atmospheric processors across the planet. The mobile units, enhanced with Velkari modifications developed during the journey, began cleaning the air, water, and soil simultaneously. Chief Petty Officer Han Gichin coordinated the massive logistics operation from a temporary base camp. We're deploying processing units in 137 locations simultaneously, he reported to Admiral Wu Jin. Each location has mixed human and Velkari crews. Engineer Choi Minho was working with Velkari technicians to modify equipment for local conditions. Admiral, the Velkari engineers have suggested improvements that increase our efficiency by 60%. Their understanding of local materials and conditions is incredible. Dr. Yang Mihua established medical stations to treat both humans and Velkari affected by the contaminated environment. Interesting discovery, Admiral. Human and Velkari biology is remarkably similar. We can use the same medical treatments for both species. As the cleaning process began showing results, something unexpected happened. Other alien species in the system started demanding access to human technology. Admiral, Commander Ju Sungmin reported, the Zenthari Empire is demanding that we share our atmospheric processing technology with them immediately. They claim it violates galactic trade agreements to withhold such advances. What do they want it for? Wu Jin asked. They want to sell it to other worlds with environmental problems. Admiral Wu Jin's response was immediate and firm. Tell the Zenthari that our technology is freely given to anyone who needs it to save lives, but we will not provide it to species who want to profit from others' desperation. The Zenthari response was predictably aggressive. They threatened economic sanctions against humanity and demanded compensation for what they called interference in galactic commerce. High Counselor Nex overheard the conversation and approached Admiral Wu Jin. Admiral, the Zenthari have powerful military forces. You should not make enemies for our sake. Counselor, Wu Jin replied, the Zenthari think we're afraid of them. Because we're new to space, they're about to learn that humans protect their friends. Captain Bei Taihyung positioned the human military escorts between the Zenthari ships and the planet. Admiral, the Zenthari are moving to attack positions. Signal all Velkari regions, Wu Jin ordered. Ask if they want Zenthari protection or human friendship. The response was immediate and unanimous. Every Velkari group on the planet declared their support for the humans and requested that the Zenthari leave their system. Faced with united opposition from both humans and Velkari, and unwilling to start a war over technology they couldn't buy, the Zenthari withdrew to the edge of the system. As weeks passed, the transformation of the Velkari world became visible from space. Brown and gray areas were turning green. Clear patches appeared in the poisoned atmosphere. Dr. Shin Yunji's atmospheric processors were working better than anyone had hoped. Admiral, she reported excitedly, we're ahead of schedule. The combination of human technology and Velkari, environmental knowledge is producing extraordinary results. Some regions will be completely clean within 6 months instead of 2 years. But the real transformation went beyond technology. Dr. Lim Chae-young observed something remarkable happening. To Velkari society, Admiral, the Velkari are changing their entire approach to helping others. They're adopting human principles of unconditional aid. Look at these reports. She showed Wu Jin communications from Velkari groups who were now sharing their limited, clean resources freely with other regions, asking for nothing in return. They're learning from us, Dr. Park Jisoo observed. But we're learning from them too. Their understanding of environmental science is advancing our own knowledge. Lieutenant Commander Oh Seung-hwan, monitoring galactic communications, brought concerning news. Admiral, we're receiving distress signals from the Proxima Centauri system. A species called the Nereids are facing extinction due to stellar radiation increases. How far away? Wu Jin asked. About 4 light years from Earth, much closer than the Velkari system. High Counselor Nex had been listening to the conversation. Admiral Wu Jin, if you need to leave to help others, we understand. You have already saved us. Wu Jin looked at the Velkari leader with surprise. Counselor, we're not leaving. We made a commitment to see your world fully restored, but... He paused, thinking. What if we didn't have to choose between helping you and helping the Nereids? What if we worked together? Dr. Velkari scientist Vel stepped forward. Admiral, are you suggesting that Velkari join humans in rescuing other species? Why not? Wu Jin replied. You understand what it means to need help. You understand what it means to receive it. Who better to help save others? The idea spread quickly through both human and Velkari ranks. Within days, volunteers from both species were organizing a joint rescue mission to help the Nereids. Captain Nam Yejin, assigned to command the joint human Velkari rescue fleet, met with her mixed crew for the first time. This is unprecedented. In galactic history, she told them. 2 species working as equal partners to save a third species asking for nothing in return. As preparations began for the Nereid rescue mission, other alien species continued to observe from a distance. Their communications, intercepted by Lieutenant Kim Do-yun, revealed their confusion and concern. They can't understand what we're doing, he reported to Admiral Wu Jin. They keep asking each other what humans and Velkari really want. The concept of helping others without expecting payment is completely foreign to them. Admiral Wu Jin stood in the command center of the now green Velkari world and looked up at the clean sky. In just a few months, humans and Velkari had accomplished what other species claimed was impossible. 2 years after the first human ships arrived at the Velkari homeworld, Admiral Wu Jin stood in the observation deck of the orbital station Unity. Below him, the planet was green and blue again, with white clouds drifting through clean skies. Cities bustled with activity, and Velkari children played in parks that had once been poisoned wasteland. Final environmental report, Admiral, announced Dr. Shin Yoonji, approaching with her tablet. All atmospheric toxin levels are now below natural background levels. Water systems are clean. Soil contamination is completely eliminated. The Velkari world is not just restored, it's healthier than it was before the industrial contamination began. Fleet Admiral Kwon Ji-won, recently arrived from Earth to coordinate humanity's expanding deep space operations, joined them at the observation window. Impressive work, Admiral. But I understand this is just the beginning? Wu Jin nodded, toward the nearby construction yards where ships were being built. The Velkari have become our partners in everything. Look at those vessels. The ships under construction were unlike anything previously seen in the galaxy. They combined human technology with Velkari environmental science, creating vessels specifically designed for rescue and restoration missions. Dr. Ryu Donghae, leading the Joint Technology Development Program, walked over to brief the admirals. Sirs, the hybrid human Velkari technology is producing remarkable results. Our new atmospheric processors are 3 times more efficient than the original human designs. The Velkari understanding of ecosystem restoration has revolutionized our approach. What about the Nereid rescue mission? Admiral Kwon asked. Captain. Nam Yejin's voice came over the communication system from the Proxima Centauri system. Admiral Wu Jin, This is Captain Nam reporting from Nereid Space. The operation here is proceeding ahead of schedule. The stellar radiation has been successfully contained using joint human-Valkyrie technology. The Nereid population is no longer in danger. Any complications? Wu Jin asked. Actually, sir, we have an interesting development. The Nereids want to join our alliance. They're asking if they can help rescue other species in need. Fleet Admiral Quan raised an eyebrow. A 3-species rescue alliance? It gets better, came another voice over the communication system. This was Valkyrie Ambassador Keth, the first alien diplomat assigned to work directly with Earth. Admiral Wu Jin, we're receiving distress calls from 6 different star systems. Species are specifically requesting help from the Human-Valkyrie Alliance instead of asking traditional galactic powers. Dr. Lim Cheung, now serving as chief psychologist for interspecies relations, had been studying this phenomenon. Admiral, word has spread throughout the galaxy about our approach to helping others. For the first time in galactic history, species in trouble are asking for help from civilizations they know won't exploit them. The implications were staggering. Traditional galactic powers like the Zenthari Empire and Thessian Collective were losing their monopoly on interspecies relations. Desperate civilizations were turning to the Human-Valkyrie Alliance instead of established empires. Commander Ju Sung-min, monitoring galactic communications, brought regular reports of this shift. Admiral, the Zenthari Empire is demanding a meeting with Earth leadership. They claim our interference in galactic affairs is disrupting established order. What kind of established order? Asked Dr. Valkyrie scientist Vel, who was working alongside human scientists in the research division. The kind where desperate people pay enormous prices for minimal help, Dr. Park Jisoo replied. We're showing the galaxy that there's a better way. The better way was becoming increasingly obvious. 3 months later, Admiral Wu Jin received a communication that changed everything. Admiral, announced Lieutenant Kim Do-hyun, we're receiving a message from the Zenthari Empire. But it's not a demand or threat this time. The message was from Zenthari High Command, and it was unprecedented. Admiral Wu Jin of the Human-Valkyrie Alliance, this is Admiral Zektar of the Zenthari Fleet. We have a problem. Our industrial colonies in the Vega system are facing catastrophic environmental collapse. Our traditional methods are proving inadequate. There was a long pause in the transmission before it continued. We formally request assistance from the Human-Valkyrie Alliance. We are prepared to accept your terms for aid. The bridge fell silent. Dr. Shin Yunji was the first to speak. Admiral, the Zenthari are asking us for help. The same species that threatened us and demanded our technology. What are our terms? Asked Fleet Admiral Quan. Admiral Wu Jin thought for a moment, then smiled. The same terms we've always had. Help freely given to anyone who needs it, no payment required. The Zenthari response revealed their confusion. Admiral Wu Jin, you must have terms. What do you want in exchange for saving our colonies? We want you to help save the next civilization that needs assistance, Wu Jin replied. That's how this works. We help you, and then you help someone else. 6 months later, the transformation of galactic civilization was undeniable. The Zenthari, after receiving Human-Valkyrie aid to save their colonies, joined the Rescue Alliance. The Thessian Collective followed, then the Morvac, then dozens of smaller species. Dr. Yang Mihua, now coordinating medical aid across dozens of star systems, marveled at the change. Admiral, we have 47 species in the Alliance now, each one committed to providing unlimited aid to others in need. We've created something that's never existed before, a truly altruistic galactic civilization. But the most remarkable change was in how species viewed themselves and others. Ambassador Keth, speaking at the first Galactic Humanitarian Council meeting, described the transformation. Before meeting humans, we Valkyrie believed that survival required competing with others for limited resources. We believed that helping others too much would weaken ourselves. Humans showed us that helping others makes everyone stronger. The Zenthari representative, Admiral Zektar, agreed. Our empire was built on the principle that strength comes from dominating others. The humans taught us that true strength comes from protecting others. Fleet Admiral Quan, now serving as humanity's representative to the Galactic Council, addressed the assembled delegates. The human approach isn't complicated. When someone needs help, you help them. When you need help, others help you. Not because of treaties or trade agreements, but because it's the right thing to do. Captain Li Wujin, the man who had started it all with one unauthorized promise to dying aliens, now served as an advisor to the Galactic Humanitarian Council. He was older now, his hair gray, but his eyes still held the same determination that had driven him to promise aid to the Velkari years earlier. "Admiral," asked a young human officer, "did you ever imagine that promising to help one alien species would change the entire galaxy?" Wu Jin looked out at the stars where hundreds of ships from dozens of species were traveling to help others in need. "I didn't think about changing the galaxy. I just thought about people who were dying and needed help." The final transformation came when a new distress signal arrived from the far edge of explored space. A previously unknown species called the Valdari faced extinction from a massive asteroid impact. Their message was different from the desperate pleas that had once begged for minimal aid from uncaring empires. "This is the Valdari Republic, calling any civilized species," the message began. "We face extinction and need assistance. We have heard that there are species in the galaxy who help others without asking for payment. If such people truly exist, please help us." Within hours, the largest rescue fleet in galactic history was assembling, ships from over 60 species, all following the human model of unlimited commitment to those in need. Admiral Wu Jin, though too old for active duty, insisted on joining the mission as an observer. As the massive Alliance fleet departed for Valdari space, Captain Nam Yejin, now Admiral of Joint Operations, made an announcement to all ships. "All vessels, this is Admiral Nam. 4 years ago, one human captain made a promise to dying aliens that humanity would provide full commitment to their rescue. Today, that promise has become the foundation of galactic civilization. We are no longer separate species competing for resources. We are one community, committed to ensuring that no one faces extinction alone." The response came from dozens of species simultaneously. "Understood, Admiral. Full commitment engaged." In the observation deck of the command ship, Admiral Wu Jin watched the stars ahead and reflected on how much had changed. The galaxy was no longer a place where the strong exploited the weak, where desperate species begged for minimal aid, where helping others was seen as weakness. Now it was a place where any species in need could count on unlimited help from their galactic neighbors, where the first question wasn't "what can you pay?" but "how can we help?" Dr. Park Jisoo, now an elderly xenobiologist serving as the Alliance's chief cultural advisor, joined Wu Jin at the observation window. "Admiral, the Valdari distress call mentioned that they had heard rumors about species who help without asking for payment. They could barely believe such people existed." "And now?" Wu Jin asked. "Now they're about to discover that such people aren't rare exceptions," she replied. "They're the majority. The galaxy learned to be better." As the Great Alliance fleet traveled toward another rescue mission, Admiral Wu Jin smiled.